question is whether or not I'm copying Emma Chamberlain, and the answer is yes, absolutely. I am copying Emma Chamberlain. Definitely just with shittier quality and worse camera skills. Probably worse editing too, but I watched one of her vlogs yesterday and it looks really cool and I want to be like that so badly. I want to be her. I want to be a skinny white girl who's rich. If I sound strange, that's because I am trying to use like audio from my phone but superimposed onto footage from my camera because my camera microphone is pretty dog shit. So I saw some YouTubers doing that. I'm trying to see if I can make it work. I'm not sure if they like hook it up or something like that, but yeah. Anyways, I got these really cute stickers from buying my boyfriend earrings, so now I'm gonna stick those on my phone because I like stickers and they're like little bear stickers, so they look really cute. So yeah, I feel like I'm supposed to have something to say, something super profound and interesting. I feel like that's what all people do when I make vlogs and stuff. My life is just not that interesting, honestly. It's just like like today when I went out for like a hike with my parents and family friends, it's probably as interesting at it as it fucking gets. And like eating out, like, oh god, that's so interesting, right? Like, wow, I get to go outside and see people and touch grass once in a while. And that is as interesting as my life gets. I feel like as I get older, or any as I mature, I suppose I get more and more comfortable with my body in a way that like I do not feel compelled to look a certain way. Like I feel like I'm reached my peak as in terms of like physical attractiveness, you know, like I'm never gonna be like super skinny or like super tall, which was just determined by my genetics. My mom is shorter than me and I am like 5'2" or like 158 centimeters. I don't know why white people use like feet and inches. Doesn't make any sense. It's so weird. And I'm like, huh? Anyways, I think I'm 5'2". I think that's what 158 centimeters translates to. Whatever. But basically, I think I have grown as comfortable as I will get in this meat shell. And I think I'm very proud of myself for that. Very, very proud of myself for that. I've always wanted to be like a candle girl, but like I just don't have enough money to invest in candles all the fucking time. So I honestly don't know if I'm even gonna use this in a video. I just feel like it's too all over the place, and vlogging is not really my style because I feel like I always have to write something down, or like my videos have to have a point, you know, like things need to have a reason to exist. But it's like I've seen like vlogging YouTubers channels and they're always like entertaining without necessarily having to deliver a big philosophical message, and like I want to be like that. Like that is a dream. Like to be able to just entertain people on your personality alone. Like that is like a feat of like human genius, I swear. Like imagine being told that you, just you are enough, you know? I wish I could be like that. Oh god. I've been thinking about the ethics of birth, like child baby making lately. It's because I read this book called Breasts and Eggs. The first part is about, I don't know, like pubescence and kind of like stuff that comes with womanhood and stuff like that. But the second part is especially focused on like this single woman, her, I think, late to early 40s, trying to have a baby all by herself. So she's looking for like donors and stuff. And especially the ethics behind like donating sperm and stuff like that. It's like a, it like brings up arguments like, oh, is having a child like that ethically right or whatever, which I personally don't think that's much of a debate. But since it's a Japanese book, so it's written in Japan, I'm guessing they have different values there or something like that. I'm pretty sure they're like pretty conservative with that stuff. So it was interesting to see someone else's argument. But there was one particular argument that interested me the most, that there's this one woman which the main character talked to that said, "Oh, I don't want you to have a child, and I won't endorse you having a child because I personally think that all childbirth is unethical," right? Because her point of view is that the child didn't ask for it or them to be born, and they didn't ask to have a life or whatever, and all you're doing is a purely selfish act of bringing someone else into the world for suffering, because by the end of the day, human existence is suffering, and your child will suffer and they will experience pain, and it's just you're wagering that they will experience more happiness than pain. So you're basically wagering that their life will be good, but it's not your life. So who are you to be able to wager it, right? I think it brings up a really interesting point that like children are never asked to be born, and having kids is a purely selfish thing, you know? Like it's like you want kids, and it's a selfish thing that you want. And a lot of times maybe your kid will have a terrible life and they will wish that they weren't born anyways. That was the women's argument pretty much. And it kind of like, I don't know, it on some levels I agree with her that yes, having children is a very selfish thing. It's inherently extremely selfish thing, because who are you doing it for but yourself, right? Like you're not doing it for the unborn child because you can't possibly know what the unborn child wants. And I just want to connect like the part about childbirth being a selfish thing to like kind of counteract the fact that like a lot of people think mothers are extremely selfless for giving birth to babies, when it's like nobody forced them to. Like every pregnancy is a choice most of the time. Like if like most of the times in Western worlds where abortions are legalized, every pregnancy is a choice by the parents. It's a choice that was made. And it's like, it's not a selfless thing that you wanted to bring a child into the world. They're like, oh, the labor is so painful, but it's like you could always choose not to have a child. It's not a selfless thing to like have a kid to go through labor because you chose to do that, right? There's also like, you know, parents being like, oh, you should be grateful that I raised you. And it's like, I never asked to be born. Like, this was not my intention. Like, you birthed me, you wanted me, and now you're asking me to be grateful for something I technically never asked for. I see this as like an argument for a lot of parents. They're like, well, I gave birth to you, I gave you life, therefore you have to be eternally grateful to me. And like, oh, I raised you, and like you have to be grateful to me. And it's like you owe them something, when it's like this was your choice, you know? It was your choice to have a child. It wasn't like somebody forced you to, right? Like in most cases, I'm thinking about like nobody forced you to have a kid. Like your children don't owe you anything other than like they don't owe you anything. Like they haven't asked you for anything, right? Like you raising a child is just a consequence of your choices. Like why should they pay you back for essentially what is something that you chose to do? Like they didn't ask you to raise them or give birth to them or any of that stuff, right? So I just think that's quite an illogical argument that I feel like it's just a lot of people just feel like they have a right to be taken care of, to be loved because by their children because they raised their kids. And it's like you have to be like, just because you're a parent doesn't mean your child has to love you, right? But they think it's like it's owed to them. And it's a very, very just like I think about it, I'm like that's a really illogical argument, because it's like who like Like who wanted this? Was it you or was it the baby? Because it definitely was you, right? Because you made this decision. So you can't blame anybody else but yourself. I still got